Hello, hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome to our show titled Speak of Africa. We have a whole lot of news for you. We appreciate the comments you've been making on our show. Thank you very much. Our numbers keep going up thanks to you. When we started this show, we did not even have a single subscriber. But you believe in the promise of this show. You've been subscribing, you've been watching, and you've been sharing the show with your friends. For the show of today, we're looking at the news cycle in the motherland. The big news this week is the BRICS summit in Russia. Putin was the host. Then you had members of the BRICS. Of course, the BRICS is an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So these countries created the BRICS as a bulwark against the US dollar. Dollar power. Since the end of the Second World War, one of the results of this war was the emergence of the US as a preeminent superpower, bestriding the world like a colossus. Even though the Soviet Union was still a superpower, but the US was prominent. They did a lot of things that the Soviet Union did not do. For one, they threw the bomb in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. That ended the Second World War. So that was something that even the Japanese thought it was an act of God, an act of nature. But the Americans proved that they were the ones who did this. The recalcitrant Japanese were forced to submit and surrender in shame. Since then, the United States has really created a system for post-war recovery made in their image, made in their likeness, made in their interests. So this Bretton Woods system, where you have the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, and the SWIFT payment system, was made to favor American interests. As a result, America is the biggest beneficiary. Since the failure of the initial Bretton Woods system, when they wanted to come up with fixed arrangement, peg on gold standard, after it failed, now they created a new system. But the US dollar is dominating the international system. When you look at balance of payments, balance of trade, all transactions take place using an infrastructure designed and built by the United States of America. And of course, post-war Europe had to follow the lead of the US. Russia reluctantly had to join, okay? Especially after the Soviet Union collapsed. So this international system really dominates world finance. So if you do something that is against the West, you lose. And that's the criticism most African countries have been making. They need a departure from a world in which America dominates to a bipolar world where you have many other countries surviving and acting in accordance with the system. Putin, for one, makes this argument, and a lot of presidents in Africa accept the agreement made by Putin. Yeah, this argument makes sense because you cannot be working in a system where the referee is playing in the match, so he has all the advantages. It's like you have a case in a court. The judge is also the plaintiff or is the defendant. So if you make him the referee in a match, he's a player, who is going to win? So America wins all the time. And besides, when you look at the way the United States has set up their system, I've been in America since 1983. I can tell you that almost every year since I came to America, the United States has been fighting a war. There's never been a year that the United States did not fight in a war. If you want to go look back, almost every year the United States is fighting a war. So the United States is not only just using trade as a way to foster its interests all over the world. They are also using military might. So it's a world in which you may think that, okay, we're using democracy. It's not just democracy. They are also using military might to suppress other people in the world. And that's why we say this system is not fair. We need a better system. How can we get a better system? That's the question. That's the million-dollar question. And that's the purpose of this show. So the members of the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, they always meet because they want to have a counterpoint against the US dollar. The US dollar dominates. You take, for example, Nigeria. Nigeria has tried. They have their own currency. How is it working for them? Not very, very well, because of some of the issues we've been talking about on this show. We've told you that the infantile African states cannot really survive when they are dealing with bigger economies, bigger countries like Russia, China. They always just eat them up, okay? Which is why we explain the wisdom of uniting Africa so that African countries can function as one economy. In fact, one of our friends, Mr. Larry Ojong, talks about the Afro, when you can have one currency used by all the African countries. We think that will really help. Because when you look at what is happening today with the BRICS, they are still struggling. Even after a few years, they have more members. But what is the impact? Most economists are measuring their impact to be really minuscule. The dollar is still dominating like crazy. And the United States is also playing dirty tricks to make sure that it should not be unseated by most of these other developing economies. They want to stay the preeminent economy. When you look at China, for example, why is the United States pivoting to Africa now? For a long time, especially after the end of the Cold War, the United States has never really shown any interest in Africa. And any interest the United States has in Africa is just based on its pecuniary financial interests. The United States has never done anything to really show that, oh, they love Africa. No, it has never happened. Yet, Africans are naive to think that, oh, America should just show love for them and love them. No, it doesn't exist that way. America looks at its interests. Even when you even look at a country like Congo DRC, Patrice Lumumba came to America hoping that this country that believes in democracy is going to save democracy in the Congo. What happened? Well, they told him, come on, we're going to get your uranium and all your cobalt for free, right? When he said no, Dwight Eisenhower just signed his death warrant. So we're going to kill this guy if he's not going to give us minerals for free. Then we'll have to take him out. So America just caters to American interests, and which is what we're trying to make Africans understand. A lot of times, Africans don't understand that real politics is what really dominates the world. Sometimes you can talk about morality, human rights. That only exists in the world of children. In the world of adults, you don't really have human rights. Most of these people pay lip service. America, for example, pays lip service to the whole idea of human rights. Jimmy Carter tried to promote human rights. How did he end? They pushed him out because they realized that he was not saying what they wanted to hear. So America doesn't believe in human rights. They may say that, oh, we're fighting for democracy. But when you look back, you see that they're not fighting for democracy, which is why African countries need to wise up. So we need to start charting our own course. So the BRICS may not be getting the kind of results that we're looking for, but I think it is a step in the right direction. We encourage African countries not only to support the BRICS, but to start thinking about their own agenda. How can we start working towards our own currency? Nigeria has done a good job, but the problem is Nigeria is too dependent on oil, and then there's too much corruption. The corruption and cronyism makes it difficult for these countries to develop sound economic policies. When you look at Bola Tinubu, for example, when he won the election in Nigeria, people thought things are going to start working well for Nigerians. But since he came, there's been so much inflation. The Naira has just been losing its value. The price of gas is too high. In fact, I read some stories this morning showing me Nigerians resorting to firewood and charcoal as a means of energy. They have gas, but gas is too expensive. So your average Nigerian cannot afford to cook or do stuff using gas. They have to resort to primitive energy systems like firewood and charcoal. Can you believe this? Nigeria ostensibly, based on the statistic I saw, is the richest country in Africa. Yet, the people are poor and they are living a substandard means of livelihood, which is not good. Then, of course, in Nigeria, since we are now on Nigeria, we can tell you a whole lot. So most of the people are not happy. And we've been saying it Bola Tinubu needs to release Nnamdi Kanu. IBOP is creating a lot of security challenges for this government, but the government is improvident. The government doesn't see far. We've been saying maybe somebody like Bianca Ojukwu, she's a minister now, she should be able to tell Bola Tinubu that the earlier you free Nnamdi Kanu, and Nigeria is like a balloon. If you free this guy, you'll be able to take some air out of this balloon so it will not burst. Because how can you, in a democratic country, refuse that an accused should not be able to talk to his lawyer? Is that a democracy? Well, in most African countries, they tell you, oh, the countries are democratic, but in practice, things work the other way. Which is why when you look at Nigeria, there's a lot of insecurity challenges because the country is not preaching what it preaches. The country may say they are democratic, but whenever a guy comes to power, even like Bola Tinubu, he does not run the country as a Democrat. Yeah? They give him advice, he doesn't follow it. Which is why even some of his supporters, even a guy like Asari Dokubo, we saw some videos, Asari Dokubo from Rivers State, he was already challenging Bola Tinubu. He's saying that he worked very hard to elect Bola Tinubu, but Bola Tinubu is not really doing much to support the dreams of the average Nigerian.
Today, I feel that I apologize to our fathers like Dapadri, like Memphis Okilo, that they were not wrong in forming an alliance with the North. And as young men, we will now start that same alliance now. As I am today, from today, I will work and form alliance with the North and to crush all of the opposition. Because whatever we do for them does not mean anything to them. Whatever job people do to them does not mean anything to them. We go all over Jordan. We will take this message that it's only the Northerners that can work with the job people. We cannot work with the Yoruba people. They are betrayers to us. We risked our life, voted, did everything. This is what we get. The Tinubu I knew. And I took all the bullets, emptied my account for, and said, hold me responsible. Hey, people say, in talk say, if Tinubu fail, hold me responsible. Tinubu fail, hold me responsible. Yes, I said it. Because the Tinubu I knew, I had so much confidence in him. But Tinubu I'm seeing today, monkey say when he carry him pikin for back, they go in don't know what him pikin collect. So make nobody hold him responsible. Eh? Yes, sir. Eh? Yes, sir. Monkey say when he carry him pikin for back, they go. You don't know what him pikin carry and collect for back. They make nobody hold them responsible. Yes. Because that's what will happen for in front. Now you know. It has taught me a very big lesson. That sometimes trust is very expensive. The Tinubu I knew. And I took all the bullets, emptied my account for, and said, hold me responsible. Tinubu becoming president, all of you, I mean, the powder was poured for my body that night. The happiness, my aunties there. The happiness for this village. The people who no voters, they don't even come out. We kill cows. The joy what I get. I pour powder for my body like a newborn baby. I don't born newborn baby. They should go and ask him, he's not dead. The president that they talk about, when they talk to president, since they don't want, make we keep secret. The press conference, the president tell me to go talk to press.
Asawana.
He don't tell me to talk anything, but he say, talk to the press. Now I talk to the press. I talk to the press. If they ask me the root cause of bunkering for you, I don't know if you talk. The people where they do the bunkering, I don't know if you call them.
Why not?
Why not? So make I go there and say, na Ijaw boys they do bunkering, na Ikore boys they do bunkering, no Goni boys they do bunkering. Now lie, don't be Ijaw boys they do bunkering. All the bonfire depot them. Now people wait there for army. Now they pay them, let them go to the thing. They collect their home, then give the people peanuts. Everybody knows it. Because we are afraid. Because people are afraid, say they go do coup. You do coup.
You guys should know the rivers, they have a lot of oil and they always protest. So Asari Dokubo is going to take his protest far away. You guys know what has been happening. Even this morning we saw some stories, a conflict between Asari Dokubo and NEWSWORTHY. Wike is always trying to put his sound somewhere, even when he should not put his sounds there, but it creates a lot of tension in the country. So we see this and we say, is another coup d'etat coming in Nigeria? Is Nigeria coup-proof? Well, it remains to be seen. Those are the questions that are on the minds of a lot of Nigerians. Then, La République du Cameroon, which is next door. Well, when we look at La République du Cameroon, a whole lot of the stories, people are tired about whether Biya is alive or dead. They just know that the French are planning succession in that country. It is a French, or I call it a French plantation. But what about Ambazonia? Well, Paul Biya wants to make Ambazonia a part of the French plantation, and that's why he has been struggling. But today, some of you guys sent me a video from Bisongaba, which is a town in Manu Division, where I come from. These videos, they really show the frustration that the people, because the people are on the ground, they send us these videos. They show you the traffic from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. No vehicle moves. Bisongaba has a military installation, big military installation in Bisongaba, okay? And it's just like the way to Nigeria. When you're going to Nigeria, you pass through Bisongaba if you're coming from Kumba, for example. So Bisongaba has a very heavy military camp. And these guys make sure that no traffic moves. We have some of our people who have been beaten in Bisongaba because they call them Ambazonians. But the guy who sent us this video, we're going to call him JJ. JJ sent us some videos from Bisongaba. You can see the way the La République soldiers are taking bribes. Every vehicle that is carrying goods, even though these vehicles have been searched in a cup before they got into Cameroon, but when they got to Bisongaba, they stop all of them. They have to search all the vehicles that have goods. Then the drivers have to pay money to these soldiers. So they collect bribes in the open. So it's not even something that is hidden. And that's why most of these travelers were really complaining that these soldiers are taking bribes. The bribes these soldiers are taking go straight into the pocket of the soldiers. So how is this benefiting the Biya government? Not really much. So a lot of this money is siphoned by these soldiers. They take the money direct from the drivers. It goes into their pocket. So the government treasury doesn't get this money. And you can see it. We're not just telling you stories because you guys send us these videos from Manfe.
This is Bisongaba. The military checkpoint in Bisongaba always closes the gate for vehicles not to cross after 6 p.m. And as they are standing like this, they have to collect bribes from all these vehicles we are seeing here. At 6 p.m. the gate is closed. See. Late for night. We don't come out. Yeah. See how many vehicles are being stopped here. This is how the French military are making their money here. All these vehicles have to pay, of which they have crossed the custom control at the border. They still have to come and pay bribes here. Money is paid without receipts. These ones are going to a cock. The cock direction.
You would remember that now. Come back. You ready for go side?
Yeah. Okay. Let's end there. They're in front there. Okay, thank you.
Then there's another one too, where the soldiers are near the Manfred General Hospital. They are also collecting bribes from the drivers. So it's a very, very sad situation. You see why there's always conflict in this part of the world, because of the bribes. And La République itself has a lot of issues. I know we talked a lot about the Longueur problem. Some of you guys were saying, is he a liberator or is he a prostitute? But that's just the way La République treats people. Some of these videos have come to light, and people are beginning to see that this government, this regime of Biya is a very bad regime. What they did to Longueur is not new. There's a catalog of evil that they have done to people, peace-loving Cameroonians. Even Samuel Eboa, who used to be a big guy in the system, after Aidjo resigned and gave power to Biya, Biya's guys had to shake him down. I hear he was beaten. Samuel Eboa, of all people, those are the barons of the Aidjo regime. But Biya got his people to beat them, torture them. So Samuel Eboa is not alone. Wazizi, Sebastien Ebala. So there are so many other Cameroonians, even Martinez Zogo, so many journalists who have been killed. Even this week, there's Andre Onana. He's the owner of a newspaper. They are shaking him down because he's publishing stories. Whenever you publish stories and the big guys in the Biya regime don't like these stories, they attack you or they send talks to beat you up. Then Biya will pretend as if he doesn't know, but he creates this climate of impunity where these soldiers know that they can beat you, torture you, nothing will come out of it. In fact, if they beat you very well, when Biya hears about it, he gives them a promotion, as it happens with Joel Emile Banqui. But these people are going to pay the price for all this nonsense. So instead of sitting and planning how to grow the economy with the techniques that you can benefit from the BRICS countries, they waste their time trying to look for ways to stay in power forever. Is this a good thing? It's not a good thing.
Welcome to Ayuk Tax Service. We are tax professionals at your service. Our services include tax returns, payroll, bookkeeping, business planning. We provide professional service, years of experience, and are proud to serve your business. Get your maximum tax refund with 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. We are located at 11207A Lockwood Drive, Silver Spring, Maryland 20901. Contact us at 240-350-1131. Fax 240-556-0535. Or email service@ayuktaxservice.com. Our hours of operation are weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and weekends 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. For more information, please visit us online at www.ayuktaxservice.com.
The same even obtains with Congo DRC. Felix Tshisekedi has been president now. He has served 2 terms. Now he's looking for ways to change the constitution in order to run for a 3rd term. When the country has a lot of insurmountable problems, Congo is probably the richest country in Africa in terms of mineral resources. Yet, most foreign countries steal the resources of this country. Some of you sent me videos last week showing me all the big trucks that are leaving Congo. They are living with wood, they are living with stolen minerals, they are all covered. But they are driving past. All they do is they give bribes to the soldiers at the border. You're telling me that Felix Tshisekedi doesn't know what is happening? Well, but he wants to run for a 3rd term. So he's already talking to the lawmakers. He wants to change the constitution because he wants to run again. If you've run the country for 2 terms, is that not enough? Why do you want to run for a 3rd term? Why have you not done much to move this country forward? You've had 2 terms. And that's the tragedy of Africa. Felix Tshisekedi keeps complaining about Paul Kagame. M23, you have so much money in the system. Why can you not build your army so that you fight Paul Kagame? When he was running for re-election, he said, moi je vais lui faire la guerre. Je vais faire la guerre à Kagame. I just laughed. I said, who is this guy who is going to declare war on Kagame when he doesn't even have an army? Kagame is a war-hardened criminal. How are you going to declare war on him? So to me, that was like a joke. And I told the people, I don't believe this Felix Tshisekedi guy is serious. He's just wasting time. Yet, a lot of Congolese people, especially the area of North Kivu, Benign, they're dying every day. M23 keeps moving in. The peace talks always end in shambles because what is fueling this crisis is the ill-gotten minerals. People want this stuff. Even the Americans, the Europeans, they want this stuff. The Chinese, they want all the minerals from Congo, which is why this war can never really end. This is why there can never really be peace in the Congo, because everybody is scrambling for these resources. Until the Congolese people listen to us, plan and rise up and kick out all these foreign powers, that's when they will have peace. You cannot believe that a country that is the richest in Africa has people who are completely poor. Yet they sit there and play music and they cannot defend themselves. Isn't this sad? Then what about Equatorial Guinea? Equatorial Guinea too is another country that you think, but you have a dictator who is aging, okay? Obiangema. Now, because he's aged like Paul Biya, he's giving room now to his son, Theodorin, to run the country. Theodorin is a playboy who has no brains. Yet, that's a guy who is in charge of an oil-rich country in Africa. Isn't this a tragedy? It is. Then, of course, we salute the countries like Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso that have opted to move away from the Western orbit. It may be a knee-jerk reaction, but I think the people in those countries like the fact that they are moving away from the Western orbit because they have been with the West for all this time. They have not developed. They are still having a lot of problems. They cannot even be thinking about how to have their own currency. It cannot happen. So even though the coup d'etats may be a knee-jerk reaction, we don't support coups, but at least we have to support some of the positive things people like Ibrahim Traore are doing in their country. He's young. You guys send us a lot of information. He's doing a lot of positive things to help his people. So we think we like that. Then of course, Assimi Goïta, he too, he's making an effort. It's not easy. It's very challenging. He has been able to put a technical team to do stuff in the country. Then of course you have Niger, where they kicked out Mohamed Bazoum. The French are out. So the uranium they were getting to power their plants in France, they're not going to be getting it. And that's a tragedy. But these countries have to keep their eyes open because the Western guys are going to try to overthrow them. So they will keep organizing coup d'etats against Niger, against Mali, and against Burkina Faso. So they need to keep their eyes wide open and look for those traitors and blacklegs.
Tired of waiting in long lines at the emergency room or your doctor's office? You should be. Why wait in long lines for care? It's time for you to come to Lucille Urgent Care. Real care, no waiting. Lucille Urgent Care, the best place for true and loving care. Service at Lucille Urgent Care is convenient, fast, time efficient, affordable, accessible, transparent, and cost effective. Real treatment is your right. Indeed, it's not just a privilege or pejorative. Skip the emergency room's long lines, kiss the ER goodbye, say farewell to your old doctor's office, pay less, save time, enjoy the excitement of convenience, receive immediate treatment, get the healthcare you need quickly and affordably. Lucille Urgent Care offers many express services: rapid COVID-19 testing, on-site prescription, preventative lab services, imaging and x-rays, urgent medical treatment for common illnesses and injuries, routine vaccines and flu shots, work-related injury services, pre-employment, occupational, annual, and sports physicals, immigration exams, and much more. Same-day treatment, rapid lab results, extended hours, weekend hours, no appointment necessary, no insurance necessary, no doctor necessary, walk-ins accepted, telemedicine available. We are open 7 days a week with evening and weekend hours. We are located in Maryland. Lucille Urgent Care, 903 Half York Road, Towson, Maryland, 21204. Website, lucilleuc.com. Call at 443-275-1286 or 301-593-4897.
What about South Africa? Well, South Africa is already a member of the BRICS. Before the end of apartheid, it was probably the most developed country in Africa. But when the black people took over with Nelson Mandela as leader, the white people dismantled a lot of the systems, like the nuclear systems. Yet, there's a lot of poverty in South Africa. South Africa has been in the BRICS now for a while. But when you ask yourself, what has Cyril Ramaphosa done to really make this country move forward? He's a rich guy, but as a politician, we think he has not really served his people well, which is why the ANC lost the last election. They used to have a majority. They lost it for the first time. So the black majority was gone. And which is why people like Julius Malema rose into prominence and started setting the terms of the New Deal. Finally, we're going to take you to Sudan. There's been a war going on in Sudan. We've told you about this war many times. Two generals are tearing the country apart because of their own greed. Every day you just hear people dying. The African Union is even ineffectual in bringing peace to this country. After so many initiatives, the African Union has finally decided to suspend Sudan from the African Union. So their membership has been suspended until further notice. But are these generals listening? They're not really listening, because it looks like what we need in Africa is to have a parliament so that this sit-tight president should not be able to be making decisions for the masses. So listen to us. What do you think? What about the BRICS? We've raised a lot of issues in this video. What do you think? Give us your feedback, because the purpose of this show is to raise your level of perception. As Karl Marx says, there's nothing such as conscious existence. We want you not just to live a humdrum life. You need to rise. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Don't just think about food and shelter. Think about aspiration, okay? Think about bigger things, okay? That's what we want for our people. Thank you very much.
Do you need tax preparation services? We can help. Contact PJ Tax Service, America's only full-time income tax preparers. Like the good old doctor, we do not close our doors after April 15th. In fact, we stay open all year round in order to serve you. We're located at 11207A, Lockwood Drive, Silver Spring, Maryland, 20901. Make an appointment today with Prince Ojong, your tax expert. Call 240-350-1131 or visit us on the web at www.pjtaxservice.com.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.